You know it's a game, don't you? You know it's not actually the essence of what we are. You know that this matrix that we hear all kinds of stories about and these things we create, we're the creators of all of it. I'm going to talk about that right now because from this point forward, you could see the world completely different, and you can watch everything that you do in a way that allows you to observe all that you can be, all that you choose to be, which determines everything in your life, your future, our future. This is much more expansive than you probably ever imagined. We're going to talk about that today. Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through the fears and live an amazing life. We all have assignments. We all took on jobs. We all took on challenges. We all took on exploration, adventure. That's it. That's all this is. And it is every possible creation of Source. Of course, there are other life forms everywhere. It's unlimited, unending. Of course, there are unlimited dimensions. There's no defined number of anything. I'm going to ask you to please subscribe before we get started, because I'm going to share something I want you to think about, because you can absolutely win this game. It's not just about winning. It's about discovering everything from the place of unconsciousness to go back into it. And once you're in full conscious mode, there's nothing you can't do, literally. Literally, even as a human being. We have to play this out. But as a human being, there's nothing you cannot change in your life. But you have to master that lesson. You have to master that challenge in order to achieve that goal, that thing you desire. You can't be this person thinking this way, or in negativity, or in the basement, as I always say, and expect different results. Right? You have to go on that different floor, that different frequency, until you get to where you want it, and you learn from there. You know what's on those other floors. You experience it. It's like moving. I've moved a lot of times in my life. It's sort of like, okay, this is cool, I love it, and then I'm off to the new adventure. And some of you don't like to move. You don't like change. So you may stay in your uncomfortable comfort zone, your uncomfortable space that's comfortable for you, right? You're comfortable with being uncomfortable. Most of us live that way because change is scary. We know being uncomfortable. We know being broke. We know being sick. We know bad relationships. We know what to do with that. But what happens when you want to change it and you actually have to do something about it? So I'm going to discuss the game with you. And again, I hope that you will subscribe, and I hope you bought my book, because it's blowing people's minds. Those of you who have read it, thank you. You've made wonderful comments. Those of you who've read it, I hope you'll go leave a review and let Amazon know that this is a book people want to read. I hope it will open up your mind, because if you read that book, it explains everything out there. No one of us has the answers. No one has all the answers. No human being can. We're playing the roles of unconsciousness. And that's the beauty of it. If you had all the answers, you wouldn't have to be here, right? We have to discover things of that which we are not when we are not in these dense bodies. And this allows us to play that game. So when you play Pac-Man, you don't win the first time. And the more you play it, the more you understand, oh, they're going to come out here, and, you know, the little Edie things. and then you start over again. You get higher and higher and higher, and that's all this is. So no matter what happens in our future, no matter what happens, first of all, it is a reflection of the consciousness of the collective. Now, I want to ask you this question. Everything has to be infinite and one source. It has to be, because one source created everything, so therefore it has to be connected on some level, which means the intelligence that created it is all things. It's just in different forms, but we see things as individual, right? That's not the case. If you took a molecule of any kind and you split it, you would have two. And then if you split this one, you'd have two. And then if you split this, you have it. It's unending. There is no point when there's nothing, right? Now think about this. What's the smallest thing that exists, the atom, and oh no, it's this, no, it's infinite. Because if there's anything material that exists, it's infinite, because once you cut it in half, there's still another piece you have to cut in half and cut in half, cut in half, which means it never is nothing. It's always existing. No matter what you do to anything, it always exists, just in a different form, including you. So this, no matter what happens to it, it always exists. You, the form, are eternal in an energy field out there that created it. So I am appearing as, and this is a little mind-blowing when you think about it, I'm the energy field that created this. Isn't that amazing? That's how mega intelligent you are. You created this. And we always think something else created us. No, because we are the something else, which means we're just a different form of the something else, not separate from it. That means that I created this. And that there's other things that create within that thing that splits and splits and splits and splits, but still is infinite. It never ends. Nothing ever ends, right? It just transforms. So I want you to know something. Everything that's going on right now is a reflection of your decisions and mine, but yours in particular, because you're creating your own reality. So what does that mean? That means whatever's going on out there is 100% telling us what we're thinking and what we're doing, what's happening out there. So you'll see things change. We'll see predictions that won't happen. And hopefully we won't have the cataclysmic predictions happen, because we're going to change it, because we don't have to experience it. Why do we experience these things? Because we haven't learned. So we have to go back into the lessons. We have to go into that lesson and that challenge, master it to get back up to the floor, the next floor, or through the Pac-Man trail. I have equipment out here. They're doing our gutters on the building. See, you work from home, you got other things, you'll always be challenged. There's no perfect place. You could go off grid. You guys have seen this. I show you how to go off grid with no money, no credit. You're still going to deal with things. You're still going to deal with life. This is designed for that. It's never, and you will never stop getting challenges here. You'll just think of them differently. So you can shift your mindset right now and realize, this is Pac-Man. I have things that are going to continually come out. I'm going to master them and get it higher and higher and higher. And eventually, when I transition, I don't have to come back into a lower density planet to learn those lessons, because I'm going to have already mastered them. So then you go off to something else, not as challenging. Unless you choose it, you might want to do certain things again. Maybe enjoyed some of these uncomfortable places that you're in. Everything from this moment forward, because we're having this conversation, is now going to look differently for you. Therefore, everything changed from this moment. You watching this video just changed everyone's future. Everyone's. Because you're now shifting into a different focus. You're entangled with another thought, which just changes everything just a little bit. A grain of sand, that's all it takes, shifts everything. So you, by watching positive videos and shutting down, maybe you didn't watch the conspiracy ones, it's all created. It's all made up, all of it. Everything's made up. None of us has these answers. No one. So don't try to wrap your head around. Just know that all things are, and all things are created, and you are part of that creation and creator. That's it. And you hold that power. Right now, you hold that power. Take on the challenges. Master them. Know that you can change anything. Know it. Right? You have to know it is done. And it is. That's the mastery. And then you go to the next thing. And you say, okay, maybe I have a block or a judgment. Or I think I'm right. Or I have to argue certain things in a material world of how things are. And then you realize everything's right for everyone. I don't need to tell somebody else what to do. I need to demonstrate to myself how it can be, and therefore that now affects that other person. Even if they didn't know you, have never met you, you're demonstrating it. You're changing the matrix program. It now shifts to a different frequency, and we, as a collective, change the complete future. And the other thing that's happening, we're going through, well, we call it a golden era. It is the beginning of that because the consciousness is raising. We are aware. We are able to talk about these things now. Even a few years ago, people call you crazy. Why? Because they're so limited and ignorant. I mean ignorance not in a mean way. Ignorance just didn't know. But we do now, and you do. So what are you going to do with it? Let's change the future. I want you to live every day, if you want to participate in this, if you want to. I would like to ask you to live out the thoughts, the feelings, and the actions of a world that you want to experience. That means no more criticism, because that which you put out, you receive. So if you don't want to be criticized, criticize no one. Argue with no one. Observe. There's another form of me expressing itself. Why am I right and it's wrong? It's impossible. It's impossible. Right? Because everything's right. Because everything's just adventure, journeys, exploration. That's all it is. So even the darkness is exploring darkness, which means there's some bad stuff that goes on that's very painful. It's exploring things. You and I can change our future. Now you guys know, Digital Explorers, I'm teaching people how to create planet-conscious businesses online, doing whatever they want. No business experience, no online experience, it doesn't matter. You don't even know what you want to do. I have a platform for that. Why? Because all things are possible. If you think you need to be something to get to someplace else, then you will disqualify yourself for all those realities. Why not you? I always use Tony Robbins as Tony Robbins. Who's Tony Robbins? He was overweight living in his car. He convinced a bank in that condition to give him money, to give him a loan. Why? Because he knew he could do it. He's a major manifester. He studied it. And then he created his own program to teach it. That wasn't original. He learned from Bob Proctor and all kinds of teachers, as did they. You don't have to originate anything. All you have to do is know what you love and create that world. Because passion is a super high frequency. And so we do that in our businesses. And it feels different. It's an unknown turf. My students are coming to terms with the fact that they're having to create something. I'm really doing this. And so you may be sitting there saying, that's too big for me. Going off grid is too big for me. I promote that too, because I want to help people create those worlds they think that they can't create. You can. And you have no excuse with me, because now I'm saying, you want that? I found it. I work with two brothers. They bought a 160-acre property in British Columbia that cash flows at least 30 grand a month. They had no money and no credit. They were bankrupt. They proved it can be done. And anything can be done. And if you're sitting there, you want somebody else to do it for you, or, oh, you know what this is? You want somebody else to do it for you. Help me make money, help. No, you hold it. I can teach you. I am not responsible for your success, because you are an equal creator. You just have to choose what that path is. That's only can come from you. So start giving yourself some credit and quit thinking the circumstances are against you. They were challenges you chose. Master it and move on to the next one. And the next, and the next, and the next. You cannot stay in that basement and expect the world to change for you. It won't, because you are the world. This is what's happening right now, and you're going to see a future that's going to reflect us. Yeah, and this. It's going to reflect us. Now, I just did a video about how you can survive. What's survival? You're eternal, so you're always going to be, but not in this form. You cannot protect this, because this is a temporary form that transforms. It's not. It's an illusion. So if you're trying to survive, you want the best way to survive? When we come together as community and we work together, we become powerful as a whole. So, me protecting me doesn't work. It's impossible. You cannot stand alone. That's part of the training here on planet Earth, is that unity and coming together as one is the ultimate answer. And as the more fragmented and separate we are, the more, let's just say, weak, disempowered we are, because we're cutting our own hand off. That's what you're doing when you reject people. You don't realize everybody contributes something amazing. Everyone. Because we're all equal light beings playing different roles as seemingly different, let's just say, status. Yet the essence of you is perfect. You are perfect. So, what are you going to do about this? Anything you want. What do you want to create? But you got to go for it. And stop listening to the limiting thoughts. I can't do this, or, oh, that's great, and oh, this is too big for me. No, quantum physics backs me up 100%. That all things are possible, and that thought you have is affecting everything out there. Right? You've heard of the double slit experiment? Yeah? The scientists realized that their thoughts were changing the results of the experiment. The thoughts. So you're already changing things before you even start to do something. Your thought about it is already creating that result. That's a science. Look it up. So if you guys want to share these videos, I would appreciate it, because we don't need to be watching these theories of negativity that can be true. But why would you want to listen to that? Because you can create something different. So that's not how things are. That's just one way it can be. Yeah? And you get to entangle with it. Is that what you want to entangle with? Come on over if you want to be a digital explorer. And these are free. How to break through fear. I've got a master class. And I'll teach you if you want to come over and take my course. I teach people how to actually change their lives. I hope that you will subscribe. And I'm going to let these guys clean my gutters. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. By the way, the little doves that have a little nest out here, the babies are getting bigger. They're sitting there with mommy and daddy because they switch off. And in about 7 days, they're going to fly away. 2 mourning doves born right here. And I'm looking at them right now. That's how close they are. There's life springing up everywhere. Yeah? They're not thinking about who's going to be president. They're just going to do their thing, and so can you, and so can I. Let's do it as a community and show compassion for one another. Every single thought counts, my friend. You're creating with it. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you. Namaste.